Hey everybody, it's Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, November 1st, 2019. We are in the last hour of the trading day. I believe this is the most important hour of the day. I believe the prices that as close as you can get them to the end of the day are the most valid prices during the day. We have the day traders, we have the algorithms fighting it out. I consider it mainly noise. At the end of the day, you have the market makers, you have the large financial institutions come in and, in my opinion, move the prices where they think they are the most valid, and therefore those are the prices that I want to make my buying and selling decisions from. So we are now in the month of November. So had a pretty good October trading month, which I'm grateful for. And so we have a whole new month. And hopefully we will have a good month. Hopefully we will follow our rules, make our plan, then follow that plan, do what we're supposed to do. And, I would really challenge you guys if you've had some issues with your trading, if you've been breaking your rules or you don't have a complete plan, I would suggest that, you make a commitment for November for one full month just to create your plan, follow it to the letter, don't make any deviations, and I think you'll be surprised by the results, win or lose, but getting in the habit of following your plan exactly without deviations is a very good habit to get into. And the more you do that, the more you are going to continue to do that in the future. And in my opinion, you really have to follow your plan to the letter in order to become a long-term successful trader. So that's just my opinion, but I would challenge you to try to do that this month. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming by. I appreciate it as always. I appreciate you investing your time here. I hope it's helping you and you're learning some good trading principles, investing principles. So thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you guys each day. So, hey, Jackson, what's going on? Good to see you, sir. Jackson's one of my students. He's from Australia. He says, morning, Greg and gang. Morning to you, too. Morning to you, too. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're studying up, watching the videos of some of the lessons we've done, and look forward to our lesson next Monday. So, all right. Well, listen, we're having a great day today. The Dow Jones is up 248 points. We had a good jobs report this morning, up about 0.92%. The Nasdaq's up 73 points, up about 0.89%, and the S&P is up 24 points, about 0.8%. So, all right, so listen, the plan for today, as usual, first of all, we're going to go ahead and we are going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. After that's finished, we're going to come back. We're going to take a look at all my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, what methodology I used to buy them, and then how I'm going to manage them going forward, either to the upside or to the downside. After that, we're going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. I think it's important to touch on this every day. It's a skill that you need to learn. Actually, the discipline is the skill that you need to learn in order to become a long-term successful trader. So I do like to spend a few minutes on that, talk about that. Hopefully you guys, after repetitively hearing it, you will internalize it and have it start becoming more of how you trade, using that good discipline. After that, we're going to take a look at all my current position. We're going to look at my all the stocks in my watch list. We're going to go down through each one by one. We're going to take a look at support levels. We're going to take a look at resistance levels. We're going to look at indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels. And the way that I look at trading, everybody, is that I look at these indicators, each individual indicator, as a group of buyers. And if you want to make money in the market, if you want to buy something and have it go up, you will do the best if you have as many buyers with you as possible. And so when I look at an indicator, I look at that's a group of buyers. But if I have one indicator and another indicator line up at the same time, then I actually look at that as two groups of buyers. And in my opinion, that will increase your chances of having a successful trade. So as many possible combinations and confluence of indicators, the better. So, but even if, and so we'll go down through, we'll take a look, we'll see if there's some convergences and some combinations of indicators lining up. But even if we do find that, it's very important to take a look at the risk-reward ratio of that potential trade. We might have indicators lining up, we might have a good setup, but based upon how I view risk to reward with RSI, ATR channels, things like that, that also has to make sense. So you can have good setups but not good risk to reward ratios. You can have good risk to reward ratios but not good setups. So what we need to look for is a combination of signals, good back tested approaches to trading, and then make sure that the risk to reward ratios make sense as well. Make sense? And then we also have to figure in position sizing, correlation, things like that. So there's a lot of different things, we have to consider before we take a trade, and just the setup itself is not sufficient. And then at the end of the day, once we go down through the list, we'll look at a few candidates, and then if all that makes sense with the indicators lining up, risk to reward, then I may go ahead and take a position at the end of the day. And then after the market closes, if you have any questions at all about what I discussed today, please let me know. Happy to answer any questions, happy to clarify anything that I said or did. And then if you'd like me to take a look at any particular stock symbols to give you my humble opinion, I'm happy to do that. And then, if there's a stock symbol that you think is important to look at or would be helpful for the group before the market closes, please let me know. Maybe put it in the chat, put an asterisk by it or something like that, so I know it's kind of time sensitive, okay? That is the plan for today. So, all right, well listen, hang tight. I'm gonna run the US legal disclaimer. I'm tongue-tied today, and I'll be back in about 40 seconds, so hang tight, please. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right, good. Got that out of the way, so let's take a look at current positions and see what's going on. All right, did buy Walt Disney yesterday, and I bought it for a couple reasons. First reason is, but not the only reason, I would not have bought it based upon this unless I had some other contributing factors. But what I did like is I liked that we bounced off the 1 ATR channel near the 200-day. Okay, that's one component. The second component is we came back down in here where we had all of this support, this previous support, this range where it kind of was up and down. But if you just kind of take the average of it, we came right down into the average of this. And then addition, we had a nice V1. V1 is a trigger that I use to get into a trade where you have, in this particular case, you have two bars. Here's day one. Day two, the day we bought it, washed out day one, meaning that we went down, the market tested the waters down here. There were not any more sellers, and we immediately reversed and we closed above day one's close. So the requirements for V1 is you have a low, you wash out that current low, and then you close above the close of that day one. So I like that it happened in between the 1 and the -1 ATR channel. I like that it bounced off the 1 ATR channel. I like that it got close to the 200. I like that we were in the previous support here, and that we triggered a V1. And you can see it turned out to be a really, really nice trade, right? So I hit 3 profit targets on this, which that's a lot. It's tough to hit 3 profit targets, but I did. So got one, well, actually it was right here at the open, because that's where it opens. So one here, and one here. And my ultimate profit target on this particular trade, the way that I trade, the way that I phase out, was the 100 downward sloping 50-day moving average. We zoomed right through the 50, which is positive. This is the blue line. But looks like we did reject the 50, the downward sloping 50 RSI. We do have earnings coming out next week. Most likely I'm going to be able to just get out of this trade today and call it a really nice one-day trade. But you know, if we would have rejected the 50 and closed below, I also would have got out into the trade. But if I can reject the 50, then I'm going to look for something else above me that possibly rejects. And like right to the penny almost, we rejected that downward sloping 50-day moving average. So very likely I am going to just go ahead, lock in the balance of my profits. You know, I took a pretty good chunk off here, here, and here, but have shares remaining. But looks like I most likely will take this off at the end of the day and just call it a good one-day trade. Hey, Steve Burns, how you doing, sir? Thank you so much for coming by as always. Steve says, great day today. Congrats to all the bulls. Yes, it's a good day. I know you've had a good day, Steve. Congratulations. I'll bet you made a all-time equity high today. I'll bet you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you probably did. I was fortunate enough to make a yearly high today, which is always a big achievement as well. So thanks, Steve, for all you do. Thanks for all your great books. Thanks for your great website, which is newtraderu.com. Thanks for all your great Twitter posts. I read them every day, and I would suggest everyone else did too. And oh, thank you very much, sir, for including me on your list on Twitter today. Always appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, all right. Well, okay, so that is Disney. Steve says, yep, all-time equity high. It's a huge achievement. You know, people that aren't traders, I could tell a friend, yeah, I hit an equity high, or I hit a yearly high today. They probably, oh yeah, that's great. Like, do you know how much work goes into doing that? So anyway, I know Steve can appreciate that, and congrats, bud. Okay, so that's Disney. All right, gold. So I did buy gold yesterday. I bought when we had the 520 EMA cross. Now, I did buy a half position, not a full position. And the reason why is that we're right up here against these previous highs. We have some resistance here. And also when it triggered slightly over the 1.5 ATR channel. I hesitate to buy up here, although on crossovers I still do. You know, this is a mechanical trade, so I'm going to see this through one way or the other. Either it's going to continue up, I'm going to phase out till I'm out of shares, or I'm going to get out when the 5 crosses back below the 20. So, you know, when I take a mechanical trade, I really have to make sure I like how everything lines up. And the 5 crossing over the 20 is a good back-tested long-term approach to trading gold. But, you know, I also have a few filters on whether or not I'm going to take the trade. And based upon where this crossover happened above the 1 ATR channel, slightly above the 1.5 ATR channel, and up against this resistance, I only took a half position. So almost got a profit target today, missed it by a few cents, looks like. Yeah, I missed it by 6 cents here, and then it reversed, which is a bummer. I would have liked to have taken, you know, 10% of my position off here, but that's how it works. I put these limit orders in at nighttime. You can see I put the 3 limit orders in here today, and then during the day, if they hit, they just go off and they trigger. So anyway, this is a mechanical trade now, not a discretionary trade. So 2 things are either going to happen. It's going to continue to move up. I'm going to phase out till I'm out of shares, or the 5 is going to cross back below the 20, and that will be my exit. But, you know, the thing with these moving average crossovers is, you know, they don't win. They probably don't win more than 50% of the time. Some of them don't win more than 40% of the time. But generally, with these crossovers, you will have small. Sorry, I think that was Amazon. I hope, because I can't get the door. You'll have a lot of small losses, but then you will have every once in a while you'll have a really nice big gain. You'll catch a real big trend, and that's the key with these crossovers. Keep your losses small and eventually have a nice gain to pay for all those losses, and hopefully more, right? So that's the plan. That's the plan with gold. All right, Mastercard. Mastercard is a discretionary trade. I did take Mastercard yesterday here when we had the 1050 EMA cross. This is a good back-tested approach to trading Mastercard. This is a discretionary trade, however. I'm using the 5 crossing the 20 as my entry, right? But then it turns into a discretionary trade. I did hit one profit target already today. Let's take a look here. Yeah. So I did hit one profit target higher, which I'm glad to have locked that in. But I'm a little concerned about this trade right this second. We did go up and we tested these previous highs today and we rejected them. Which is, kind of a red flag. We also have a bearish reversal candle here. We are higher than the open, but we are lower than the close. And we did poke our head back up, right back up here to where the resistance is. And currently it looks like we're closing, I don't know because it has to close first, but it looks like it's under the 1 ATR channel. So I did also only take a half position on this because of this reason, because of this previous high right here. But I don't particularly like the action right here of rejecting this high, making this a false breakout to the upside. It did break out and then it came back down. Having the bearish reversal candle where the open is lower, the current close is lower than the open, but the current close is higher than yesterday's close. That's a bit of a bearish bar as well. So I'm going to wait and see where this closes today. I would have liked if it had broken out. I would have liked if the close would have been above the open. Neither of those things happened, and we rejected this previous high. So this concerns me a little bit. I may take this off at the end of the day. I'll just have to see where it closes. All right, Netflix. So I did buy Netflix back here on the 29th of October. I bought it when the 5 EMA crossed over the 20 EMA. This is a good back-tested approach long-term to trading Netflix. I did like this setup because I bought it when the 5 crossed the 20 right here in the value zone. It wasn't starting to get extended. Anytime you get above this 1 ATR channel, you start pulling the rubber band a little bit because 90% of prices fail here at the 3rd ATR channel. So the closer I buy to the 3rd ATR channel, the way that I look at it, it gives me a worse risk to reward. So I did like that it happened right here. Next day had a really nice big trade move up. I can't remember how many profit targets we hit. I think we hit 2 or 3. I can't honestly remember right now. I used the 5 crossing the 20 as my discretion, or as my entry, right? As my entry signal, but this is not a mechanical trade. I do have discretion. So generally, whenever I buy, if it moves up 1 ATR away from my entry, then I start locking in some kind of trailing aspect. And right now, today's bar did go lower than yesterday's low, but currently it's sticking above yesterday's low. So that's good. So I'm going to keep this now as long as the close of the current day stays above the low of the previous. So if this closed today lower than yesterday's low, I would go ahead and just lock in my profits on that trade. But again, this is a good example of, even if you get into a trade, you take a couple profit targets off. If it moves back against you, at least you've locked in those profits up there. You've taken the chips off the table. And if it does go back down, it mitigates your life. So that's the reason why I'm kind of a big fan of phasing out of my position. All right, next up, silver. So I did buy silver back here on the 24th of October when the 5 crossed over the 20. We also had a positive MACD crossover here, which is good. Next day, we had a huge gap up. I took 40% of my shares off right here at the top, which is a great start to the trade. And also, takes a lot of chips off the table at a higher price. Next few days, we did come back down. Yesterday, we again hit 2 profit targets on this trade. So I think probably 40, 50, 60. So I'm out of about 60% of this trade, all at higher profitable levels. This is a mechanical trade, so moving forward, I'll stay in this as long as the 5 stays above the 20. I'll continue to phase out until I'm out of shares, or to the downside, if the 5 crosses back below the 20, that will be my exit to, or that will be my signal to exit. All right. So the world famous overnight SPY trade, and I know I mention this every day. It probably gets old to current listeners, but I do want to go over this quickly just in case we have some new viewers today. But this is a different kind of approach that I use that does not include the analysis of the technicals. This is solely based upon a long-term backtest. This is from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. But with this backtest, you have there's 2 approaches. Approach number 1, you could buy the SPY each day at the open, sell it at each day at the close. Do this every day from 1993. Buy at the open, sell the close. Buy at the open, sell the close. If you would have used this approach from 1993, for all your troubles, you would have returned a negative 13.9% return. However, if you the second option, which is what I do, is I buy the SPY each day at the close, sell it first thing the next morning. Buy at the close, sell it the morning, buy at the close, sell it the morning, every day. If you did this from 1993 every day, you would actually return a positive 634.2% return. So you can see the difference between buying in the afternoon and selling in the morning, or buying in the morning and selling in the afternoon, is huge. And really what this, if you look at these numbers, all of the gains in the S&P 500 since 1993 have actually come from people bidding it up in the after hours, bidding it up in the pre-market, and selling it into the open. So past performance is no guarantee of future results. Of course, that goes for any trading approach or any trading strategy, but I really love this chart because it illustrates perfectly what an edge looks like if you let it play out over the long run, right? There are ups and downs. You do have drawdowns, as you would with any particular with any trading approach. You're going to have, if you have an edge, you're going to have a upward sloping return, but you are going to have ups and downs during that long-term move up. And so it's important to position size correctly so that you can trade for the long term, so that you don't get frustrated and just stopping. But anyway, blue lines buy in the afternoons, sell in the morning. Orange lines the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. And by the way, for day traders out there, this should tell you something. This should tell you that most of the gains do not come during the day. They come in the overnight session. And I know, day traders say, well, I don't like to hold overnight. I don't like the risk. But, you can clearly see from this chart that the majority of the gains come from overnight. It's actually an edge in holding overnight. So anyway, with that said, had a great overnight trade today. Bought yesterday here at 303.33. Sold this morning first ring at 304.92. So I've been using this since February 26th. Today I hit an all-time high using this approach. So I'm very grateful for that. By far hit an all-time high. So nice overnight trade. I will buy this again today at the close and sell it first thing Monday morning. All right, lastly are the Qs. I did buy the Qs when the 5 crossed over the 20. This is a good long-term back-tested approach to trading the Qs. It's a mechanical trade. I don't have any discretion. I'm going to take my entry. Did happen in the value zone. I like that. And I'm going to phase out to the upside till I'm out of shares, or I'm going to, when the 5 crosses back below the 20, I'm going to get out. But you can see I bought this back on the 11th of October. I've been in this for quite a long time. You can see this has been a great, great trade. I've been phasing out every time it goes up, 0.4, the value of 0.45 ATRs each day. Did hit another profit target today. So I'm getting pretty close to being out of shares on this trade. Probably maybe I have 20% left of what I started with, but that's fine. And the way that I phase out, the closer I get to my ultimate profit target up here, the larger percentages of shares I'm taking off. Like here, I might be taking off 20%, or down here, I might only be taking off 10. And that's the way that I designed the formula. So anyway, probably only have 20% of the shares left, but again, I'll just keep going here, phasing out till I'm out, or the 5 crosses back below the 20. So anyway, nice day today. Very grateful. It's a nice start to November. It's always good to get off, the next month with a good start. So yeah, that's what we have. Doing really well. Bing He, hey buddy, how you doing? Bing He's our friend from Singapore. Got your email, replied. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Bing He and everyone else in the group, listen, again, why don't we make a commitment for November? It's November 1st. Why don't we make a commitment for the whole month, for 30 days, right? Follow our plan. Don't let the emotions get the best of us. Position size correctly and do it every day for 1 month, right? No impulsive trades, no nothing. Just exactly to the plan. If you win or lose, don't get too upset. Don't get too excited. Just, look at each trade as the next 1,000 trades. Think about trading as a long-term endeavor, not a get-rich-quick move. Because if you do that, you're going to have too many wild swings with your emotion. And if your emotions get out of whack, you're going to make a bad decision. I promise you. All right, so, let's do this for November. Bing He said, STNG came back after I cut loss yesterday. Anyway, took BZH and DRQ. DRQ doing well now. Both trades are based on different setups. So, BZH. All right, that's doing well. And DRQ. I think maybe you bought DRQ with the under 30, over 30. Yes, looks like. Yep, put yourself in the position for a good risk to reward. Small if you're wrong. And whoa, it's up 4% today. Fantastic. Very nice. Very nice. Drill Quip, never heard of that. Hey Gamer Squad, what's going on? Good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming by. Always nice to have you here. Always appreciate you coming, and hope you're doing well. So listen, this is the part of the podcast where I like to talk about trader psychology. Guys, learning how to trade, learning support, resistance, setups, exits, all this kind of stuff is important. But it's not brain surgery, it's really not that difficult once you get used to it, get a handle on it. But what is difficult, no matter how well that you know charts and how much you know about technical analysis, the one thing every trader will struggle through in their lifetime is managing their emotions. When I say trading psychology, I mean managing your emotions. When your emotions get too high or they get too low, that's when you make bad decisions. And, this is Tom Canfield on Twitter. Tom is a professional trader. He has great posts. He's got a great sense of humor, and he's been trading for a long time, and he's on Twitter. So at Canny4 on Twitter. If you haven't subscribed to him, do yourself a favor, subscribe, read his posts. I think they're really great. But earlier I said, look, it's November. Why don't we all make a commitment to, get our plans together, execute our plans to the letter, no deviations, no impulsivity. And so when I read this, it kind of spoke to me, and it was very similar to what I talked about in November about let's commit to 1 month of doing the right thing, right? So Tom says, I have no agendas and no axe to grind here. I just want to make a living trading. Everything I say and do stems from that one simple request. Experience has taught me that I, and I alone, am the greatest, or I am the single greatest threat to that quest. Trading is easy. I make it really hard. Right? Doesn't that say a lot? Experience has taught me that I and I alone am the single greatest threat to that quest. Trading is easy. I make it really hard. So basically what Tom's saying is really he's his own worst enemy. And certain athletes out there, no one can beat them in their sport, but they beat themselves. Well, I think that's what Tom's talking about. I mean, anyone who's traded for extended period of times know this is true. The setups, what you do, your profit targets, stops, all that kind of stuff. It's really not that difficult. But what is difficult is managing your emotions so that you don't get too high or too low and basically not follow your plan. Make impulsive trades, buy too much, not buy enough, take trades when you're not supposed to, or not take trades when you are supposed to. This all comes down to emotions. And I said yesterday, I think you could hire a 13 or 14-year-old kid, pay him $10 an hour and say, here's my plan, trade it. They most likely over time will do better than you will, because they'll just say, this is what I'm supposed to do, I'll follow the plan. Right? They're not going to think they're smart or smarter than the market, maybe like you or I would, where we deviate from the plan. It's probably not a bad idea. If you guys have good setups and you can't for some reason make money because you make impulsive trades and that chips away at your profits, maybe hire somebody to do the trades for you. You tell them what the trades are, but don't let them, or have them make it so you can't touch the keyboard, right? I think I read, I don't know if it was Market Wizards or another book, I think it was Turtle Trading book. I think where one of the guys, Turtle, I can't remember his name off the top of my hand. I think he said that if he would have just hired a minimum wage person to do his trades, he would have made, many, many millions more. So anyway, thanks Tom for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, everybody, just like Tom says, experience has taught me that I and I alone am the single greatest threat to that quest. Trading is easy. I make it really hard. So, let's just make it easier on ourselves, get the plan and follow it. So thanks, Tom. All right. So we have got the psychology out of the way, and let's go down through the charts, guys, and see if there's anything that looks good today, both from a technical level, risk to reward level, all that kind of stuff. So Apple's a monster. It is a monster. You can see we've made a new high today on Apple. It's up 2.34%. We had earnings. Didn't want to get in front of earnings, but again, Apple's been one of those stocks that has not let me back in. I just have not been able to get in this stock because it's just been too overbought. It doesn't offer me a good risk to reward ratio. The irony is, no matter where I would have got in, it would have been a good place to get in, right? But that's not how I look at it. I have to look at, if I'm going to have to take a trade, I have to have a good setup, which I don't have a setup. I have to have good risk to reward ratio, which on Apple I have no good risk to reward ratio. So, I will be patient. Apple is now overvalue. Anything over the 1 ATR channel I considered overvalue. Eventually it will come back into value, and I would rather buy something in value or below value than above value. But for those of you that have Apple, congratulations. This is a monster move. Okay, Adobe. So, a few days ago, Adobe did close back over the 200-day moving average and also the 50, which is a positive sign, giving a good risk to reward ratio. Today it was up much higher. You can see we have a V1 to the downside here, but it is still holding the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So for me, it may just continue and just move up, but at this point I'm not going to buy here. Especially with this V1, negative V1 to the downside. I would be looking for a pullback into the value zone, some sideways movement, some stabilization, look for a V1 or V2 to the upside. Today we have a V1 to the downside, which is generally bearish. I want to get a V1 to the upside, which is generally bullish. So nothing on Adobe for me today. Advanced Micro Devices, similar to Apple, is just cranking and cranking and cranking. But again, it's very strong, but it's just too high for me to buy here. Doesn't offer good setup, does not offer a good risk to reward. But for trend traders, it has been a monster. Amazon. So Amazon, you can see last time we hit that 200-day moving average, we rejected it pretty thoroughly. We were higher today. We are still under the 200-day moving average. Today, actually, we do have a valid back-tested crossover on Amazon, which is the 550 SMA crossover. You can use this as an entry, or you could use this as a completely mechanical approach. That would be another approach, but you would have to hold through earnings if that were the case. I don't think I'm going to take it up here though. We're above the 1 ATR channel. We have the 200-day right above us, which concerns me. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go roaring up, but just based upon my filters, I know that we have the 200 above us. We're above the 1 ATR channel. We have this, this is a bit of a bearish candle here. Kangaroo tail to the downside, open low, go up, and now we're actually lower than that. So I am just going to use discretion and not take this trade here, but it may just go running and I won't get in it, and that's how it goes, right? But for me, pull back into value is what I would be looking for. Boeing, working on a higher low here. It's 41.28 RSI. We did go down, we rallied, we sold off a little bit, but for me to get interested in Boeing at all here, I like the higher low, but it would have to have some kind of V1 or V2 to the upside at the very minimum. So nothing on Boeing. Caterpillar, just a monster. Again, like a lot of the big stocks, just too high. Doesn't offer me a good setup, doesn't offer me a good risk to reward ratio. Look for a pullback into value. Dow broke out here. But again, can't do anything with it. Have to wait for a pullback. Everything's so high right now, and it doesn't offer me a lot of opportunities. So, it's just one of those things where if I, based upon my filters, I can't take any new trades, and I just can't take any new trades. And if the market just heads up without me, that's unfortunate. Sometimes that will happen, but best to follow your plan and follow your rules and, wait for the setup that you're comfortable with. Walt Disney, of course, I did buy yesterday. With the V1, the bounce near the 200, the previous support, and this has worked out really, really nicely. I will be getting out of this today at the end of the day. Did hit 3 profit targets, but looks like we rejected the 50 RSI, so I am going to go ahead and just take this off the table. Etsy, well. So we had that huge move down after earnings. We went under 30. Today, looks like we are back above 30. So I do like that we bounced off the 6 ATR channel. That's kind of an extreme level to bounce off. Usually it's very tough to get stocks to go below the 6 ATR channel. I mean, it happens, but not a lot of the time. But we did go under 30, over 30 with the bounce off the 6 ATR channel. And we also went higher than the high of today. After a big gap, that is important. I wouldn't buy it just based upon that. Whenever you have a big gap, if within the next 3 days you can get above the high of the gap down day, that is somewhat relevant. But based upon the rejection of the 6 ATR channel, based upon the under 30 back over 30, and based upon that we did go above the previous day high, looks like I will be taking a half position in Etsy today. Will be half because it's under the 200-day moving average. So actually, let me just put in my order right here. All right, then let me do this over here as well. Done and done. So it gives me less things I have to do at the end of the day if I already have the order in. So I have the order in, right? Yes, I do. All right. Keep moving forward. Nice big day today. Still under the 200-day range bound. Nothing there. Facebook up slightly today. Too high for me here, though. 5 below. Nothing really on 5 below here. There's our gold. Oh, finally went positive on the day. That's good. Google up today, but no signal. Goldman Sachs doing well. I need this to pull back into value. Home Depot. Nothing really there on Home Depot. IBB having a huge day. You know, I look back and go, I didn't take this 520 crossover here. Boy, what a monster trade that would have been if I had, right? Can't remember why I didn't take it, but I didn't. But you can see the 5 crossed over the 20 here. This would have been a mechanical trade, and boy, would it have been a monster. Intel had big earnings, moving sideways, need to pull back into value. Russell 2000, I did get out of, we did buy the Russell back here, had this nice big move up to here. I exited 2 days ago. We went above the third ATR channel and then back down below it. So yesterday it looked like a really good idea. Today it made it higher than that. But anyway, I'm still fine. That's it was already a great trade. So waiting for a pullback. Johnson & Johnson still stuck under the 200-day moving average. Coca-Cola down today, V1 to the downside. Nothing really there. Lockheed Martin up slightly. MACD crossover today, which is good. What I'd really, I like the MACD crossover, but what I'd be looking for at the moment is a couple days down and then a V1, V2 in the value zone, a higher low V1, V2. That is what would look good to me, especially that we had the MACD crossover. Mastercard is looking better. We bought that yesterday. Did hit one profit target. I'm just a little concerned though that we ran right into that resistance and failed. To be determined. McDonald's, I wanted to buy McDonald's with the close under the 30, over the 30 back here, but the time it happened, it didn't, it was a good signal. It just didn't give me a good risk to reward ratio. I was basing that we would have resistance at the 200, and it's exactly where we had resistance. Today, we are down actually 1.35%. We're holding slightly the halfway of this big bar here. This line here of 194.55 is the 250-day moving average. You close under and close back over the 250. It gives you a good risk to reward ratio, and it does back test pretty well. If we closed above 194.55, I would consider it because it would give me, very small risk to the downside if it closed below the 250. But currently it is below the 250 and below the third ATR channel. So if it doesn't go back up, I will be looking for another 30 RSI dip down here. Altria, big day, big volume yesterday. We've had a little bit of a rally, but it doesn't mean much with this huge bar underneath it, so nothing there. Merck, much higher today. Bearish engulfing candle to the downside, also a V1. I'd be looking for this to find some support in the value zone and look for a V1 or V2. Microsoft, not up much today on a big day like today. It is holding this range, but like a lot of stocks, I want to see this come back into the value zone, look for a V1, V2. Netflix, of course, we have. We bought this back here, 281.40. If today closes below yesterday's low, I will go ahead and just get out of this trade because I moved at least one ATR away from my entry, and when that happens, then I start using some kind of trailing stop. But currently it is above yesterday's low, so if it stays there, I will keep it. Nike, not doing so hot today. Nothing there. Philip Morris, big strong day. broke out of this range here, close to the 70 RSI, so I don't want to get involved at this level. PayPal, underneath the 200-day, really nothing there. Qs, of course, we bought back here, this 520 crossover. This has been a great trade. Did hit another profit target today. Maybe we can get up and hit that second. I don't know. Silver. Well, silver's had a nice move back up off of today's lows. So did buy silver here at 160 or 1665. Profit targets yesterday. It's looking pretty strong there. SPY, of course, we had that great overnight SPY trade. I will be buying this again at the end of the day. I already have that order in. Bonds, we had a couple nice big days, but now we've had a little bit of a pullback, although we do have a MACD crossover on bonds. So, you know, at this point, we've rallied back into the value zone. I'm looking for a day or two back down, and then I'll look for a higher low V1, V2. It's one of my favorite approaches. Tesla, short killer to the upside. Nothing much I can do here. Looking for a pullback. Twitter, geez, I mean, look at this base that it's forming here. This was very bullish in my opinion yesterday. We had this sidewards movement and we had this really nice V1 to the upside, but it hasn't done much. Still down today and still under the 30 RSI, so too low for me. UNH doing great, but nothing there. US oil had a nice day today. Nothing there. VIX. So guys, I am going to go ahead and buy a half position in VIX today. We're at a 30.58 RSI. You know, if we look at the actual VIX here on the weekly, you can see this goes back to April, but you can see this range here, and right the range we're at right now is has held support this whole year at this level. Doesn't mean it's going to continue to hold support here, but we're near, this is on the weekly, we're near the 1 ATR channel, the low of the 1 ATR channel. On the daily, oops, we're here on the VIX. On the daily, we were at a 30.58. We were actually lower than that. So it just gives me a good risk to reward ratio, right? If it closes under 30, I'm out. That's it. I am going to be taking a half position in VIX today. We've had some really good trades on VIX this year. Some of them were over 14%. So, you know, maybe we'll get another 14. Maybe we won't. But I do know that it gives me a good risk to reward ratio. So I am going to buy this here today at the end of the day with a close, with my stop being a close under the 30 RSI. Verizon, big V1 to the downside here. MACD is negative, back in the value zone. Tell you, one thing that I've noticed over time, guys, is when you have a big bar that's larger than 1 ATR, here's 1 ATR from here to here. See how this bar is larger than 1 ATR? Whenever I see a larger bar than 1 ATR come into the value zone, it usually hits the bottom channel. If I see a larger than 1 ATR bottom come from underneath into the value zone, it at least gets to the 1 ATR channel. Not every time, of course, I don't want to say every time, but way more times than it doesn't. So I wouldn't be surprised with this big ATR channel that we're going back in here, that we would touch here. But I don't know. That's just an opinion, doesn't mean anything. Walmart, we're just consolidating here. You know, at this point, my experience tells me something down here or here to buy a dip, but nothing on Walmart at the moment. Energy, nice day today. Nothing there. Financials, big, strong day today. Looks like it might be closing above the 1 ATR channel, so this has been a really good trend trade for somebody. XLRE, I know a couple of you took this V1 here a couple days ago. The stop would be a close below, and the way that I trade would be a stop below halfway of the washout bar. Today it was way below the washout bar, in which case if I had the trade I would get out, but it has rallied off the low, so you know, we'll see if it closes above halfway of this washout bar. Utilities, V1 to the downside, and healthcare off of its highs. All right, so with that being said, let me get my plan together here. Oh, Etsy's now at a 30.03. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to cancel that market on close order, because now it's going to have to become a manual because it's too close to the 30, and I don't want it automatically buying if it closes under 30. Okay, so we'll have to watch that one. I'll tell you what, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get out of Mastercard. It's not up much today on a big day. Looks like we did come very, very close to testing that high and rejecting it. We have a bearish reversal candle where the close is lower than the open, but the current close is higher than the previous. So that being said, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Up against its previous resistance, bearish reversal bar, not a V1 anymore, so that's good. All right, I have to think about that for another minute. McDonald's does not look like it's going to close above its 250, give me a good risk reward ratio, so I will be looking back down here for a 30 RSI. Down here is where I'll be looking for a new entry. And VIX. All right, so I am going to buy a half a position of VIX at the close. Etsy is now under 30, so I will not be buying that. Disney, I am going to sell with the rejection of the 50, downward sloping 50 moving average, but I'm really glad to have that really nice one-day trade on there. Gold is now up. It's moving up. Mastercard. Netflix still holding yesterday's low. Silver now up on the day. That's fantastic. We'll be buying SPY at the end of the day. And Qs, of course, we hit. So look over here real quick. Hey Frank, how you doing? Hello, sir. Looks like WWE wrestling has really taken a beating. Would love your analysis. Well, like a lot of charts that got beat up this way, Frank, I wouldn't touch this until at least we close back above the 30 RSI to show that it was strong enough to close above the 30 RSI. So I wouldn't do anything with it here, me personally. Steve says, Apple, great trade for trend traders that ignore overbought readings, not great for swing traders or drip buyers. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I've been wanting to get into Apple for a long time, but it just hasn't offered me. But oh well, that's what happens. Marco, hey buddy, how you doing? Apple, just wow. True, Marco. Wow, Etsy is back under the 30 RSI. Have you been watching that as well, Steve? Yeah, it's underneath. Apple is short sellers' worst nightmare. Nowhere for them to get out. So true. Metals rallied back to green. Yep, exactly. All right, how we doing on time? Hey, Mount Doji, what's going on, bud? Focus Financial Partners. Well, you have a V2 here, Mount Doji. Day one's a little bit larger than 1 ATR, but problem is there's just no sideways. There's just no sideways movement. But then again, sorry, we started from down here, So we came from under back over, then a couple days down. We did wash out. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a valid V2. It is a higher low V2, sorry. Instead of a pullback to value. Yeah, it's a higher low V2. You know, gives you a good risk to reward ratio. If you're wrong down to here. If you're right, you could be right all the way back up to here. Above the 50, above the moving averages, MACD's positive. Yeah, I think it looks fine. I mean, we never know what's going to happen, right? We never know what's going to happen. We just analyze the trade, but big volume today too. Yeah, I like it. The more I look at it, the more I like it, Matoji. All right, so I'm scheduled to get out of Disney. Gold positive. Mastercard. I think I'm just going to take off the table. I think I'm just going to take it off the table. I felt weird about that trade from the beginning. Who knows? Might go roaring up, but my spidey sense, ever since the beginning, I didn't like it. But who knows? What do I know, right? Netflix is hanging in there. Unfortunate, it's not participating in the rally today. I don't like that. Silver down a penny. Gonna buy SPY at the end there. And gonna be buying VIX. So I'm gonna buy a half position of VIX with the close over the 30. Etsy is now under the 30, so that looks like it's off the table. McDonald's under the 250. So it looks like I'm going to be selling Mastercard for profit. Going to be selling Disney for a nice profit. Going to be keeping gold. Going to be keeping Netflix unless we close under here. New trade in the SPY overnight. Qs are fine on autopilot. May hit that second profit target. I don't know. And then definitely I am going to be buying a position on VIX. So anyway, this is all set up. Oh, GPOR. Well, it's really strong. It's a V1 here today, but for me, it's above the 1 ATR channel, so this is just too high for me to buy here. But from an RSI level, it's okay. But you know, what are you going to use as your risk? You know, halfway of this washout bar, at the very least. I like that other one you get. I like that other one a lot better than this one, personally. The focus, I like it. But just my opinion, could go either way. You know what I mean? So just want to give you my opinion, but I do like the focus much better. Okay, so it looks like Etsy is off the table. I'm just going to take Mastercard with it. Wasn't able to get above this high today, where the rest of the market did. Close is still below the opening, but narrowing. Okay, we have 1 minute. McDonald's still under the 250. I'll be buying VIX at the very close here. 10 seconds. Come on, Q's, hit that profit target. All right. Boy, what a day. What a day. So, all right, I did sell Disney. Nice one-day trade. This might continue up. Again, the reason I sold it is, we pretty much got rejected, pegged right at the 50-day moving average. So that was a great one-day trade, I'll tell you that, on a big stock like Disney. So, okay, so Disney is out of there. Gold ended up positive. Mastercard I did get out of, but ended up being a profitable target. Profitable trade. Netflix did close above yesterday's low, so I kept it. Silver break even on the day. SPY, let's see, that's where we sold it today, and let me look at where my 306.14. All right, so the new entry is at 306. Right there. Ooh, that's high. But even the high ones have paid off, right? All right, I got filled on VIX 1885. Okay, that looks like it. So don't have a lot of equity exposure here at the moment, actually. We've got Netflix, the Qs, and the overnight SPY trades. So I'm getting pretty light on equities, getting a little bit heavier on defensive, like gold, silver, and now the VIX. All right. Wow. Well, how did everybody do this week? And how did everybody do in October? I'd like to hear how you guys are doing. You guys know how I'm doing. But anyway, grateful for yearly high today. Very, very thankful for that. And nice to get off to a good start for November. So let's all go over the rest of the comments if you guys have any questions. First, I just want to quickly let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I've had really good success with my clients. I offer a 10-hour course. It's 5 2-hour sessions with me. They're all live over Skype, and teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years of being a full-time trader. And I've had I don't think I've had a student who has yet not been really happy with the results, because it's intensive, it's one-on-one, you can ask me questions right away. I teach, then I ask you a ton of questions. I have you do a lot of chart analysis, breaking it down, good setup, bad setup, what are the pros, what are the cons, what does the risk reward look like, all that kind of stuff. So, if you're interested in having these lessons with me in the evening time via Skype, please let me know. You can reach out to me. My email is in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. And, if you're interested, the first step is we have, a 30-40 minute kind of interview call with each other just to see if we're a good fit with each other. I like to know more about you, how you got into trading, what your challenges have been, what your goals are, and then, I'll help you put together a structured plan, a good, solid, structured plan that if you follow going forward, I think you're going to do really well. But I think it's a very valuable course. I think you're going to understand trading on a much deeper level than just what we do here on the live stream. And I hope this is helpful. But one-on-one for 2.5 hours each night, obviously you get a little deeper understanding. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. Let me know if you want to kind of set up that Skype call. We can kind of interview each other, see if it's a fit. And then listen, if you like this channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I would also appreciate very much, again, if and only if you like the channel and you like the content, if you could hit the thumbs up button. It helps promote the channel from YouTube, and it gets the channel out there, gets more exposure, and there's a lot of people out there that need help with trading, and I think if they come to this channel each day, they can't help but improve. So help me help them and hit the thumbs up button, and I would really appreciate it. So all right, so that's my little plug for today. Okay, so Steve said, yep, Etsy, same trade as you. Yep. Shelton Johnson, hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. Shelton said October was good. Glad to hear it. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay. So Bing, he had a nice trade on DRQ, boy. Look at that, 4.44%. So we bought the under 30, over 30, near the third ATR channel, and had a monster here. Bing He, how are you going to manage this trade going forward? Right? First step, you have to get a good trade. But second step, after you have a good trade, what are you going to do to manage it? To not give it all back, to try to maximize your profits, trailing stops, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, Frank, on WWE, that's my take. I call this big skyscraper bar. Remember, this bar isn't this big. It's actually this big from yesterday, from the day before's close. So, this might just move sideways for a long time and create a base. Might just keep drifting down. Hard to know, but I wouldn't do anything with this at a 2560 RSI. I would at very least wait for a close back above 30, the very, very least. Hey, Yas, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. Hi, Greg. What do you mean by 1/2 position? Thanks. Okay. So I have a rule. The maximum I take is a 10% position size, right? So if I had $100,000, I would take, and I had a good setup, I would take a 10% position size, or I would buy $10,000 worth of that stock. Let me see here. I have a rule that if it's a discretionary trade on a stock and it's under the 200-day moving average, instead of taking a 10% position size, I will take a 5% position size. If I took the trade over the 200, then I would take a 10%. But if I have a discretionary stock trade under the 200-day moving average, I only take a 5%. So if you look at VIX, VIX is way under the 200-day moving average, right? So instead of me taking a $10,000 position in VIX, or whatever 10% is, I would only take a 5% position in VIX, or a $5,000. Does that make sense? Frank said, had a nice trade last month in cold. I've never heard of that symbol. Well, looks like I should have. Fantastic, Frank. Well, where did you buy it, and why did you buy it? The important questions. Yeah, it's a nice trade there. I can see a 520 cross. That looks decent. Bing He said DRQ is based on a mean reversion target is the 20 MA to exit full position. The 200 MA is nearby. If rejected, I will also exit. Also, if 50 RSI, will exit. Okay. Well, that sounds like a plan to me, and that's what's important in trading, guys, is to have a plan. So, okay. So the 20, rejection of the 20 is your kind of big profit target. If the 200 is rejected, you would also get out. I totally agree with that. Also, if the 50 RSI is rejected, I will get out. Perfect. There's your plan, right? You have no control over this whatsoever. but at least you have a plan and stick with it. What about to the downside? What about if it goes down? What are you going to do, Bing He? Yeah says yes. 5% of port. Thanks. What would be your stop on VIX? Do you have hard stops? Well, if you mean hard stops, like I have the stops in the computer system sitting there, no. But most of my stops, or majority of my stops, are end of day stops. So my stop would be a close under on a closing basis under the 30 RSI. Right now it's a 30.35. So it gives me a small risk if I'm wrong and potential nice reward to the upside. However, I also always do have two stops. 98% of the time I use an end of day stop, but I also have a sitting 5% from below my entry as an emergency stop, regardless of when it hits. If it hits 10 minutes into the open, I would take it, because normally I wait till the end of the day for my stop. But obviously if something's going down, it's down 15%, I'm like, well, I can't get out because it's not the end of the day, right? So I do have to have some kind of emergency stop in place. And that emergency stop on any entry I take, whether it's a crossover, discretionary, anything, is a 5% from my entry, right? That limits me to 5% of a 5% loss. And if I had a 10% position size with a 5% loss, I would only lose a half of my capital, right? If I took a 5% position size and I had a 5% max loss, then the max I would lose of my entire account would only be 0.25%. And that emergency stop is also not a hard stop. They're both soft stops where I watch them and manage them. But if the VIX Monday went down 5%, I would not wait till the end of the day. I would just get out. If it doesn't go down 5%, then I wait till the end of the day and I base it off my end of day stop. My end of day stop is the 30 RSI. Frank said, have been watching and waiting with the calculated risk. Good. Calculated risk means a plan. Bing He says, for DRQ, the stop loss is 1.5% below the low of yesterday, around 39.40. Okay, good. It's a plan, right? That's what makes sense. Frank says, I keep a portion of any gain in a reserve to cover my losses. Oh, fantastic. Jackson says, Greg, on cold, 19 September, is that a valid V2? Let's take a look. On the 19th of September. Yeah, it is. Good eye, Jackson. It's a higher low V2. We make a low. We have a rally back up. Come down. Have day one. Day two washes out day one. Day three closes above day one. Still gives you a little room to the 1 ATR channel here. So, yeah, there would be a higher low V1. Good eye. When I took DR2, two concerns. SL is a stop loss is a bit wide. Yeah, I thought it was a bit wide. It is an energy sector which is not doing well. Well, the energy sector not doing well, I understand why you think that way, but you should, in my opinion, I try not to think about that industry. I just try to think about the chart, right? Because then it may affect your how you follow your plan. But yeah, the stop loss is a bit wide in relationship to, 39.40. See, if your stop loss is here, 3.7 cents to the downside, 9.1 to the upside, it makes sense from where you bought it. But now to give this all back would concern me, because now you're risking more to the downside. And I think that you may get rejection at the 200-day moving average. If it's going to rally, it should keep going. Another option, like if I was trading this, I would use a close below today's low. That would be my stop. I don't think I'd let it get all the way back down to there. Bill Richardson, hello Bill, how you doing? Bill said, I had a good week, closed out a position on lows, entered Wednesday at close. Friday, okay. See, you entered here. All right, so that's moving up nice. That's moving up nice. Close out a position, entered Wednesday at close, and entered Walmart yesterday. All right, so you had a little bounce today. Also had a bull spread on Apple. Entered after earnings. Very nice. I'm glad to see somebody made some money on Apple. I have a couple friends that have huge positions in Apple, so they've been killing it. So I'm glad to see that going up. I'm glad to see that you had a bull spread on that. So you bought the bull spread after earnings. So I guess here. So fantastic. Fantastic. Up $7. Wow. I also have a modest gain in XLK. To avoid earnings upset. Oh, Disney. Okay, glad to hear that. Fantastic. Yeah, I bought Disney yesterday as well. And I did exit today when it pegged that 50-day moving average. Much better trade than Walmart. Okay. Well, if anybody has any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here, put on my hiking boots, go for a hike. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. It's cold, but unbelievably beautiful. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll just say goodbye to everybody. Oh, yes. Thanks again, Greg. I had a good day. You make trading sound and feel so easy. There's a lot more to learn from me. I wish I had found your channel earlier. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, Yas. Appreciate it. Really glad that you did find the channel, and thank you. And keep coming back. Jackson says, Greg, notice you occasionally have an interactive broker summary page in the background. Is that just a quick non-hype reference or just keeping in touch with the greater market? You have an interactive broker summary page in the background. On my chart here, are you talking about my symbol down there? I'm not 100% sure. Jackson, what you mean? Probably the button down here. Because remember, I used to have an account over at at Interactive Brokers till I moved it because of the commissions. Bill says, yes, I am on a zero trading platform now. Yes. I moved over from Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers is still low, but it's just zero is better than one, right? Bing He says, IBD teaches to look at the market and sector. Trading sometimes very confusing. One person say this, another. Eventually we just need to follow. Yeah, there's so many methods. I mean, some people are breakout buyers, some people are dip buyers, some people will never buy anything but a breakout, some people will never buy anything but a dip. You know, I think they all are valuable. You just have to craft something that makes sense for you. Make a plan and then stick with it. And it has to do with personality. Some people love to buy breakouts, more their personalities. Other people just do not want to buy anything high. They want to buy something low, you know? So, hey, John, how you doing? Good to see you. Jackson, sent a quick one above. I'm not following, Jackson. If not, no biggie. I don't sent a quick one above. Yeah, Jackson, sorry, I'm not following what, or is it just a pop-up in the background you don't use? If you're talking about the shortcut, yeah, I just don't use it anymore. I thought it was a news page occasionally when you flick between windows. Oh, it might have. Yeah, I don't have Interactive Brokers up and running at all. All right, everybody. So listen, I hope you have a good weekend. Jackson, thanks for coming. Looking forward to our next call on next My Monday, which is your Tuesday. Remember the time change, so it's 12:30 your time. But you're doing great. Keep watching the videos. Bing He says, thanks. November will be a better month. I hope so. You know, let's make that commitment, make a good, solid month where we just follow our stuff. No nonsense. Right? No, just no impulsive. So Bing He, thank you for coming by. Bill Richardson, thank you for coming by. You are certainly welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you. And so Bill and Bing He and Jackson and Marco, good to see you. John, thank you for coming by. Let's take a look over here. Yas, thank you. Good seeing you. Have a nice weekend. Frank, good seeing you. Let's see here. Shelton Johnson, thank you for coming by. Hope you come again. I'm glad October was good for you. Mount Doji, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Let me keep in touch. Let me know what you're trading, how your trades are going. Steve, good to see you, sir. Congratulations on your all-time equity high today. And hope you have a nice weekend. And I think I said bye to Marco, but I'll say goodbye to Marco again. And Gamer Squad, good to see you. And I think that is it. So go out and do something nice for somebody today, guys. All right. It's good for you, good for them. And hope to see you next Monday, right? In the final hour of trading day. So have a good rest of your day and have a good weekend. Bye, everybody. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.